So guys, today is the second demo session. So first of all, we are going to discuss our topic, whatever we have scheduled for today. That is a brief introduction to ASP.NET Core Framework. And then if anyone join for the first time today, then I will also take the question and answers if they have anything right related to this training program. So first of all, we'll discuss our concept and then we'll take questions. And guys, the most of the interview questions, if you are attending right any ASP.NET Core interview, then basic question, these are basic topics, but even these are basic topics, right? Most of the developer, they are might not be aware about such concepts. So we will try to understand all these things. So what is ASP.NET Core Framework? Why ASP.NET Core Framework? What was there before ASP.NET Core Framework? Right? Why they introduced ASP.NET Core Framework? What is the difference between .NET Framework and ASP.NET Core Framework? What is the difference between ASP.NET and ASP.NET Core? How the program execution is right, it takes place in ASP.NET Framework, and how it is going to be done in ASP.NET Core Framework. What are the major changes they have done in related to compiler, related to related core library, related to the CLR. So all these things we are going to discuss, and practically, right, I'm going to show. This is not. I'm going to explain from right by default. So basically, I will show you this thing with the proof. Proof in the sense whatever Microsoft right represent or whatever Microsoft documentation tells about all these things related to performance, modularity, open source, right, cross-platform. We'll try to observe all these things. So let us proceed and understand. See, guys, before proceeding further, I just want to ask you one thing. Now, if whether you are working as a developer or whether you are working for any company. So if you want to develop a new project, then before developing the project, what you need to decide? You need to decide the technology what you need to use. For deciding the technology, what the technology you are going to use, what are the key factors or key things that you need to take into consideration? That is what my first question to you, all of you guys.
Stabi- Stability of the technology.
Yes, definitely
Cost.
stability.
And which are the platforms it supports?
Yes, yes, 100%. Anything else?
Long-term support.
Yes, 100% long-term supports.
Whether you have to
Security.
legacy technology or latest technology, that
Yeah,
also need to
definitely.
consider.
See, if some latest technology is coming into the picture, means what? Means there is some drawback, there is some flaw in the legacy technology. So if I'm going to develop a new application, then should I go with the legacy technology? 99% of time, the answer is going to be a big no. So if I'm going to develop a new application, then what new things I need to take into consideration? See, so in that scenario, what are the things you need to consider, already take into consideration? First of all, whatever the technology I'm going to be use, that must be free. What is the second thing? The second thing, it should be open source nowadays. If you are developing some application, if the source code is openly available, you can get the source code and you can update. Third thing is that it should be cross-platform. So cross-platform means what? Now it means the application should
Can be
not
run in
have
any
specific.
OS.
Sorry, yeah, yes. So it's not be specific to any operating system. Also, it's not specific to a particular hosting environment like Windows, like IIS, like Apache. So it should be deployed any kind of a ready server. And fourth one is it should provide some kind of a long-term support. That support should be very long-term, right? Long-term supports. Then long-term support means long-term supports, and this would provide some quick update. Quick update means, guys, what? For example, you are using their right platform or you are using their product. If you find some issue in any of the source code, I mean, for example, they are provided one package or they are provided some kind of a built-in classes. You are using those classes methods, and you came to know that in some of the method there is some issue. Whether that issue is a bug, whether that issue related to performance improvement, if you highlight those issues, then immediately they are going to provide some quick update. So that flexibility they are also going to provide. So these are the things that what you need to take into considerations, right? Whenever you are developing the project or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So before,
Also,
yes,
yeah,
Please
one more
explain
thing I
long-term
want to add
support.
here.
sorry.
Sir, can you explain long-term support?
So I will explain all these things, right? Whatever the free open source cross-platform LTS, quick updates, all these things, right, in detail, I'm going to explain. So just now, I just make you understand that these are the things that what you need to take into consideration. Definitely, what is open source, cross-platform, what is LTS, what is STS, what do you mean by quick update? All these things we are going to discuss in detail, right? So these are the things that what you need to take into considerations whenever you are going to develop a real-time project for any company or for yourself. So till now, before ASP.NET Core, what framework we are using? Before ASP.NET Core, what framework we are using?
.NET.
ASP.NET.
ASP.NET. ASP.NET framework is open source, yes or no?
No.
No.
Is .NET framework cross-platform?
No.
No.
So basically, these are the two major drawbacks. Again, all right, another thing we also need to take into consideration, performance. Performance. Another thing that what you need to take into consideration, security. So these are the things that what you need to take into consideration. So the framework, what we are using before ASP.NET Core, yes, that is free, but that is not open source, that is not cross-platform. Yes, they are providing this support quick updates, but that framework was not that performance optimized. Why? Because ASP.NET was developed in the year 2002. At that time, people and the software, the application, what we are developing today, and the software application, what was developed in the year of right, early 2000, completely different. Nowadays, we are giving priority. We are giving priority to three things. What are the three things? It generally, whenever you are developing any project, what are the three things you need to take into consideration? First of all, the business logic. Whatever the right product you are developing, that should fulfill the business logic. What is the second thing? Second thing is performance. If you are developing a product, for example, if you are using one application, and if that application is taking more time, for example, you want to log in into application, you provided the username and password, and when you click on the button, it is taking 2 minutes or 3 minutes to log in. Are you going to use that application again and again? The answer is going to be no. So basically, whatever application we are developing, 100% that business logic should fulfill. But at the same time, performance is a key factor. And the third thing is the security. So without security, if your data is not secure, nobody going to use your application, or nobody is going to buy your application. So these are the three things that what we need to understand. Yes, when the ASP.NET Core framework, ASP.NET framework introduced, at that time their main objective is business logic. So at that time, they are not giving more priority to performance and security. That doesn't mean they are not giving priority, but the performance and security, what we want in today's time, at that time we are not thinking that much, right? And another thing, what you need to consider whenever you are developing any kind of application, that is cloud optimized. So the application what you developed using .NET framework, that is not cloud optimized. So the point that what you need to remember, so you need to remember, now we need a platform or software which should be open source, which should free, open source, cross-platform, which should provide long-term support, which should provide quick updates, which should give better performance, security, and it should be cloud optimized. And the previous framework, that is the .NET framework, is not providing all of this. Some of these are available, but the open source, cross-platform, cloud optimized, and this performance, right? These are the features which lack in the older framework. So what Microsoft introduced as the developer, as the companies, now they are looking at this key red features for any platform what they want to use to develop the application. So the Microsoft introduced the framework that is called ASP.NET Core. Clear? Why they introduced the ASP.NET Core? Is that clear? Yes or no? If someone asks you why ASP.NET Core, you have to tell this thing. So what was the
Yes,
problem
sir.
with ASP.NET Framework? And to overcome this ASP.NET Framework problems, they introduced this ASP.NET Core. Clear? So now if you look at this right history of ASP.NET Core, please observe this image. So in 2002, that ASP.NET Framework was introduced, and it is become obsolete in 2015. And this is the 2025 P ecosystem now. Now we are developing using this thing. And in 2002, we are having this ASP.NET framework. And to develop the application, the ASP.NET framework, particularly to develop web applications, they are provided something called web forms. Ready? Anyone here joining this session? Does anyone having any experience into web forms?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes,
basically,
sir.
it is a page
Yes, sir.
focused application. So we are going to have one page. For each page, there is a code behind file. You have to write some event handling kind of coding. So, and that is the problem page focused approach. So here we are going to use a controller based approach. So MVC application, this is the traditional, and WebAPI, right, for developing RESTful services. So these are the technology, right, or you can say framework, web application development framework provided by ASP.NET Core. So what is the problem with this ASP.NET framework? We have already discussed. That problem is Windows only, monolithic, so release cycle. So basically, right, we don't know when the new version is going to be released. But now Microsoft already provided when the new version is going to be released in 2025, in 2026. That clear life cycle is already provided, but that is not available with ASP.NET. Monolithic means a single code base. Windows, right? So basically, this ASP.NET framework that is not suitable for developing in microservices based application. And now, and you know that very well. Nowadays, if you are going to develop any kind of a complex application, right, most of the time we are going to follow the microservices architecture, and that is what lack with the ASP. And definitely, it is Windows only. Windows only means what? It means it can only be used to develop using the Windows operating system, and it can also be used to deploy on the Windows operating system using IIS. So there is no other option. You cannot deploy the application in Linux server. You cannot deploy the application in cloud environment. So these are the limitation of this framework, and all these limitations, right, we can overcome using this ASP.NET Core. So advantages, definitely what is high performance we will discuss, flexible hosting, so high performance. So all these things we are going to discuss, how it is provided multiple hosting environment, how it is going to be lightweight and modular, how it is going to be cross-platform. All these things we are going to discuss. And currently they are provided a different, what I can say, framework to develop different kind of applications. So for example, you want to develop a minimal API, you can go. You want to develop RESTful services, you can go. You want to develop some Blazor application, SignalR, MVC web API, right? Multiple, many different kind of flavors they have provided. As per your requirement, you can use. Also, I'm going to discuss which framework you need to develop, use, right? Which framework you need to use for developing what kind of application. And coming to this point, what I have highlighted here, that point we are going to discuss one by one. So that is the history. History means what was there and what is today. So there means earlier ASP.NET, and now it is ASP.NET Core. Clear? Clear or
Yes,
not?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
Now, all right, if someone asks you, then you can tell this thing, history of ASP.NET Core, or why ASP.NET Core was introduced to overcome these limitations. Now, so what is ASP.NET Core? So can anybody tell me what is ASP.NET Core?
it is an open source framework
Sir, it
provided
is
by
an updated
Microsoft to
version of
develop web
ASP.NET
applications.
framework,
So don't
which is
say it is an updated version of ASP.NET Core. ASP.NET is completely different, right? ASP.NET Core is completely redesigned from the ground zero. It is not the updated version of ASP.NET. So it is completely a new framework altogether.
Yeah, it's an open source cross-platform framework provided by Microsoft to develop web applications.
Yes. So, right. So basically, this is the framework which is provided by Microsoft, and this framework is going to be open source, so cross-platform. So at this point, you can see this framework is open source, cross-platform, high performance, cloud native, modular, and lightweight. right? So these are the features that is provided, and using this framework, you can not only develop the application in Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system, but also you can run the application on Windows, Linux, Mac, as well as in the cloud environment using Docker. So basically, if you see ASP.NET Core is a cross-platform, open source, high-performance web development framework created by Microsoft. It is used to build modern cloud-based and internet-connected applications that run on Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system. Right. So now, if you want to see, right now, if you want to see what is ASP.NET Core, right, according to Microsoft, let us try to understand. So if you go and visit this page. So this is the official page, which is going to give the definition. See, ASP.NET Core is the modern means this is in the right cloud-based, whatever the modern technologies, right, they are all going to be supported. High performance, the performance is going to be very high. Web development framework, so it is not used to develop any console and a desktop application. It is basically used to develop web application that can be run on .NET, right? Right, framework for .NET, yes. It runs on different kind of operating system. So you can see Windows, Linux, Mac, and Docker. So if you see the official definition, this is another definition. You can see ASP.NET is a popular web development framework for building web apps on .NET platform. ASP.NET Core is open source version of ASP.NET that runs on Mac operating system, Linux, and Windows. ASP.NET Core was first released in 2016 and is a redesign of earlier Windows only version of ASP.NET. It is not a updated version. You can consider it is completely redesigned from ASP.NET. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we need to understand why ASP.NET Core. So ASP.NET Core, why it becomes most popular among the developer, and the .NET developer, why we generally prefer to use ASP.NET Core. So you can see I have highlighted some of the point. One is cross-platform, open source, high performance, cloud ready, modular, lightweight, multiple hosting environment, built-in dependency injection support. So let us try to understand high performance. So if you visit this one, right? So from this page, so here it is saying performance is the key focus of ASP.NET Core. It is faster than other popular web form, right, frameworks in the market, right? Whatever you used to develop, right, some kind of applications, web-based application, right? For example, if you are using Java, if you are using Node, and if you are using .NET, right? This performance benchmark I'm not providing. This performance benchmark provided by Microsoft, and they are claiming that if you are using Java, then per second it can handle 2.20 million of requests. If you are using Node, then it can handle 0.60 million requests per second. But if you are using .NET, it can handle up to 7.02 million of requests per second. So you can see from this comparison, right, it is clearly saying that .NET is very, right, going to handle more number of requests, right, more than thrice of Java and Node.js, more than 700% of this and 300% of this one, right? So that's what you can see. So this is the reason why, right? And this is possible because they have designed this application from the ground zero to make the application more rate performant, right? So clear, right, how it is going to be designed. So the key factor they have right, they took into mind that we need to design the application which is going to give good performance. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now open source. Open source means what, guys? Remember, open source means the source code is openly available. So open source means the source code is openly available. As we progress, right, once we start developing the application, I will also show you the source code. So for time being, what you need to understand, like the rest of .NET, right? ASP.NET is open source on GitHub. So this ASP.NET is open source on GitHub means what? Now, whatever the packages, whatever the library we are going to use, those packages, those libraries, source code you can find on GitHub. And to this right, to open source community, more than 1,000 individual community right, contributor, 1 lakh individual contributor, and more than 3,700 companies they are contributing to improve the platform. So basically, as an individual developer, if you build some kind of application, or you can say packages, you can also share your source code on the GitHub. Other people they can use. So that is how the community grows. And now more than 1 lakh contributor they are contributing, and more than 3,700 companies, right, they are providing. So you can see, right, you can see this is open source, right? .NET is open source and cross-platform. It's maintained by Microsoft and the .NET community on GitHub. .NET consistently ranked among the top 30 active open source projects since 2017, right? So there are so many open source projects are there, and one of such project is .NET, right? And it is right, completely right. See, .NET becomes open source from 2016, and from 17 it rank in top 30. Right, all aspect of a .NET are open source. So what are the things then we, right, make open source, right, including class library, whatever the built-in class you are using, the .NET runtime, that is core CLR, the compiler, that is Roslyn, whatever the language C sharp, F sharp, Java, ASP.NET Web Framework, right, whatever the framework we are going to use, like ASP.NET Core MVC, Core Web API, Blazor, Azure Pages, Windows or desktop framework. So if you are developing some kind of a Windows-based application, Entity Framework Code, Data Access Library, and more, like ADO.NET Library, Entity Framework Code, Data Access Library. So everything they make available openly on GitHub. Clear?
So what does this mean, open source on GitHub?
The open source of GitHub means you can see the link they have provided. You visit this link. So this is .NET runtime. So how the .NET runtime is designed, right? Whatever code they have written, so everything you can find here.
Sir, even Microsoft web
Everything
also
they have.
designed by .NET
Sorry.
Core.
Yes. See, Microsoft
Even this
designed .NET
website
Core.
also designed by .NET Core.
Yes. So Roslyn, you can
Microsoft.
see this is
Okay.
the compiler, right? So that source code openly available. So you can check and you can find what code they have written. Everything is available openly. So you can verify the source code. Yes, as you started developing some of the applications, then some of the source code I'm going to show you practically, right? Once you started developing the project. Clear?
Yeah, sir. So that means somebody has to be really brilliant to, uh, find the bugs in the this one and give suggestion to Microsoft that there is some
Sure,
bug, and
sure.
yeah.
Exactly. Suppose they are provided, and see, as a normal developer, nobody is think about it, right? For example, right, if you are using some package, whether that package giving you best performance or bad performance, whether whatever purpose they have designed that package, whether that rate functionality you are achieving or not. So see, if you are finding any difficulty, if you are finding anything wrong, right, you can inform and they can fix the issue, right? And again, right, not brilliant. Once you start using, right, then you can get all this in clear.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this point is clear. What do you mean by open source, and what are the things they have made open source? See, don't think that open source means free. So people are having many confusion. Open source means it is freely available. So that is completely wrong concept. Open source means the source code is openly available. Individually, you can see and you can verify, you can modify as per your requirement. Now,
But
cross-platform.
can we modify, like, once we
Yes,
download some package to our
yes,
system?
100%. You can modify, and that modified version you can use as per your requirement. That is absolutely fine,
Okay.
right?
But
And,
sir,
yes, as a general developer, and generally we are not doing such kind of things, but yes, that is also possible.
actually I have one question. Like
Yes,
if the package is open source, then it is obviously free to use, no?
yes, free to use. No, people are having thought, and open source means free. You see, .NET framework, what you use earlier, that is also free. But free means is that open source?
No.
No.
To open source,
Sir, what?
there is no relation between open source and free. Open source means the source code should be freely available. Whether it is a free or not free, that doesn't make any sense. Clear?
Sir, why
If it-
they will, why they are making open source, sir? What means what is the use?
Open source means you just tell me what is the benefit of using open source. For example, right, one package they have provided, and that package right is not fulfilling your requirement. You need to do some kind of changes. So if the source code is not available, can you do the changes? No. If the source code is available, can you modify the source code and do the changes as per your requirement? Yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
So,
Clear?
see that means in our class library we can modify those source code.
Exactly. You can modify. There is no issue. You can modify. And if time permit us, right, once you develop some application, some point of time, I will also take one session to make you understand how you can download the source code package and how you can write, do some modification, and that modification how you can use in your application. I will show you, right? Don't worry, this thing also. See, they are provided. I'm saying means it is possible, and we will also do this thing. Do some research, and right, I will develop one application by doing some changes with the packages what we download from right Microsoft. Clear? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
clear?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, the next important point that what you need to tell is cross-platform. So they have designed this ASP.NET Core framework from the scratch to make it as a cross-platform framework. Sir, what do you mean by cross-platform framework? See, platform means operating system. Cross-platform means it should be supported by multiple operating systems. So earlier, the .NET framework, what we use, that the .NET framework application can only be used within the Windows environment, right? See, Windows environment means, see, there are different kind of applications, right? Different kind of application means what? Right? You can have some kind of a desktop application, web application. Desktop application means it can only be run on Windows. Right? But now, right, that application you can make use in a Linux operating system. You can make use of with right what I can say Mac operating system. Yes, obviously this can be run on Windows operating system. Now we don't need to develop different application based on the platform. So one application that can be run on multiple platforms. Coming to this cross-platform, it is cross-platform from 2 points. 2 point means what? From the development point of view and from the hosting point of view. So now you can develop the application using any platform, and you can run the application using any platform. So it can be your Windows, Linux, Mac, or .NET. Yes, so flexible hosting options are now available. If you are using, right, if you want, you can host in IIS, traditional IIS, which we are very aware. If you want, you can use Nginx, Apache, and Kestrel web server. And if you want, you can also right host your application in container like Docker and using Docker and Kubernetes. I mean, this is for the cloud environment. So ASP.NET framework apps were Windows only, whereas limited to IIS hosting. But with ASP.NET Core, now it is no more limited to IIS and no more limited to Windows. It can be developed on any right hosting environment, and it can be developed and run on any environment like Windows, Linux, and Mac. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So the next important advantages is lightweight and modular. So guys, remember applications are built from smaller NuGet packages instead of a heavy monolithic framework. So earlier what happened? Now, if you are using Edio.NET, a single very big package they have provided. And even though for Edio.NET, if you are using very limited functionality, in that case also you need to install or write that complete package. But now they have simplified this thing. So ADO.NET, they are provided multiple packages. Entity framework, they have provided multiple packages, right? So as per your requirement, you can use whatever package is required by your application. You don't need to load the heavy monolithic framework. Instead, you need to install small packages. So small packages means what? Definitely it is going to be smaller application size. Smaller application size means improved performance. Smaller application size is faster deployment cycle. So if your application size is very big, then that right going to take more time to host. It will take more time to start, and definitely it is going to be faster deployment cycle. So now these things, right, you can this problem you can overcome with this ASP.NET Core. The next one is built-in dependency injection, right, guys? Remember, dependency injection is one of the important design pattern to achieve loose coupling and to implement a unit testing. So without dependency injection, unit testing is not possible. And to implement a dependency injection, you need to implement the interface-based approach. So you should not create the class class directly. You need to create one interface. For that interface, you need to create the class. And if you are following that approach, then you can easily implement dependency injection. Right? Dependency injection means what? Whatever the object required by a class, instead of creating that instance within that class, we are going to inject that instance to that class. And how it is possible? Now, before ASP.NET Core, we need to use some kind of a third-party packages, right? And you need some kind of third-party packages we need to use. But with the ASP.NET Core, built-in support they have provided. So you do not need to install any third-party packages. Easily, you can implement dependency injection design pattern, which is going to manage the service and life cycle. You can easily implement the testing, unit testing, and it is also going to give you the clean architecture, right? So that benefit you will get if you are developing the application using ASP.NET Core and the cloud ready. So cloud ready means what? Now before this one, before ASP.NET Core, if you are developing application using ASP.NET framework, then you cannot host those application into cloud. But with ASP.NET Core, now you can develop the application. Yes, it is cross-platform, everything is fine. But you can also deploy the application into cloud. And nowadays, companies are looking to, or companies are deploying their application into cloud. So if your framework doesn't support this thing, then why you should go and why are you going to use that framework? If it is support cloud, then definitely you are going to use. And they are also providing some different kind of configuration providers like app settings, environment, Azure Key Vault, and many. So in .NET Framework, we are having a single config file, web config file. And now we are going to have a different configuration file. So whatever all these configuration files we are going to see in detail. But for now, just remember, this ASP.NET Core platform means cloud-ready applications you can develop, which you can deploy into cloud environment. Secondly, ASP.NET Framework means you cannot develop the microservices-based architecture application, but with ASP.NET Core, you can develop microservices. So in simple word, we can say it is completely redesigning of how web applications should be built in the cross-platform cloud-first era. Right? So cross-platform means build once, run anywhere. Open source means transparent, community-driven innovation. High performance means optimized for modern workload. So modular and efficient, lightweight means efficient and flexible. Whatever package you want, you can install. Whatever not required, uninstall. Built-in dependency injection and cloud-ready support. So in short, what I can say, this is the future of .NET development. So if you want to become a .NET developer, then you should and you must know ASP.NET. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir. The NuGet package. Who owns this NuGet website? Like we download some package. So like how?
Microsoft.
Okay.
Right? And this Microsoft, and now it is GitHub and some community. Currently, NuGet means that is provided by Microsoft. You can add your package to NuGet, and then you can also download. That is also possible. So we are learning here ASP.NET Core. ASP.NET Core means the owner is going to be Microsoft.
Okay.
Right now what I need to understand, what we need to understand, right? As I have told you, right, they are providing some kind of long-term supports and quick updates. So we need to understand how frequently they are going to provide the new releases. What is their future plan of release life cycle? How they are going to provide some kind of patches. So before that, what we need to understand, the evolution of naming. So naming, evolution of naming means, you have to remember up to .NET Core 3.1. So .NET Core 1.0, .NET Core 2.0, .NET Core 3.0, .NET Core 3.1, the framework was officially called .NET up to 3.1. From .NET 5, right, guys, remember there is no .NET Core 4. From .NET Core 3.1, the next version is .NET 5. Why they removed or why they didn't release any .NET Core, we'll see. I will also explain why they have not introduced .NET Core directly, .NET 5 from .NET 3. I will also show you. So from .NET 5, which is released in 2020, Microsoft dropped the name Core. So see, .NET Core 3.1, now from .NET 5, it is .NET 5. So from 6, 7, 8, you can simply say .NET 6, .NET 7, .NET 8, .NET 9, and .NET 10. But as we are very acquainted, we are using the term core, but that core is already they have removed from 2020. Today, there is only one platform, that is .NET platform, which covers all the workload. So if you want to develop web application, desktop-based application, cloud-native microservices, mobile-based application, whatever, only one platform, that is .NET platform, where you can develop, right? So one SDK. So this basically means one SDK, one runtime, and one base class library across the platform. So you do not need to install different SDK, different runtime, different class library. One SDK, one runtime, one class library, one platform. You can develop any type of application. So the naming you have to remember, right? Up to 3.1, it was called as .NET Core. From .NET 5, right? From 5, it is simply .NET. They have removed this in name core from their name. Right? So now you can simply say it is .NET. Earlier, that is .NET Core. Now it is simply .NET. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But before .NET 5, when someone used to ask me that which .NET you are using, I was very confused that I don't know whether we are using .NET Core, we are using ADO.NET or anything else.
See,
So
ADO.NET is
can
not
you please
a
explain the
framework,
difference?
right? So that is a language feature. So you will get the clarity in today's session. Just wait and so. For now, you just remember what is the framework, right? What is the platform now? So because see why you are not getting the clarity, because I have not yet explained what is ASP.NET Core, what is .NET. That clarity you will get once I explain that one. And 100% at the end of today's session, you will get that clarity. So wait for some time. I will definitely really help you to understand all these concepts. So because those concepts I have not yet discussed. Once I discussed, you will get the clarity. For time being, just remember there are two brand names. One is .NET Core and another one is .NET. Till 3.1, that the right platform we call it as .NET Core. But from .NET 5, it is simply .NET. So what is ASP.NET Core? What is .NET? We will see. So release frequency means what? Microsoft release a new major version of major version of .NET every November. So every year in the month of November, they are going to release a new .NET version. So each release alternates between, right? Each release alternate between means what? Now every right even number they are going to represent LTS. Odd number they are going to represent STS. So what is LTS? What is STS? LTS means long-term support. STS means standard term support. So even number like 6, 8, upcoming is .NET 10. So they are going to be provided with LTS support. Odd number like 5, 7, they are going to be provided with STS. So now what is the difference between LTS and STS? LTS means what? Now 3 year of support. So once they introduce this version, then for the next 3 years, they are going to provide you with the support. So what type of a support? Now any bug fixes, they will fix that one. Any performance improvement, they will do that one. So such kind of support they are going to provide for the next 3 years. And after 3 years, that is going to be dead. And for STS, the duration is going to be 18 months. For once the version is released, for the next 18 months, they are going to provide support. Again, same kind of a support. Support means that bug fixes, patches, some kind of a performance improvement. But ideally, both are going to do the same thing. Only difference is that the duration. So LTS means 3 years, STS means 1.5 years. Clear?
So that means suppose we developed one application in .NET 8. So long term mean after 3 years we have to migrate to 10.
If you
Like
require, you can migrate. See, Microsoft support means what? They are not going to give you any new feature, but that doesn't mean you can't run applications. So till today, I see .NET 4 not 4, right? .NET 5 applications are there. .NET 6 applications are there. And currently the LTS, right? Currently the latest version is .NET 9. So that doesn't mean that the application will not run. So that means they are not going to give any support for the further, right? For example, if you are finding any bug, then that bug they are not going to, right, give any kind of a fixes. That's what you need to understand. Clear?
Okay.
Right. So now if you look at this support life cycle, here you can see standard term support patches for 18 months, long term support patches for 36 months. So now you can see in .NET 7 was released November 2008, .NET 8 was released November 2023, and November, right, and in May 2024 they have provided, right, you can see this 2022 support is end here. Then in .NET 9 that was released in the month of 2024, and then you can see uh, November 10, the 2025, the .NET 10 is going to release. November 11, .NET 26, right? November 26, .NET 11 is going to release. So basically, they have provided the future life cycle when the new version is going to release, for how long they are going to provide the support. That what they have provided. Clear?
Support in the sense what, sir? Support in terms of what?
Support in the sense for what? Yeah, right. Support in the sense what I'm saying. And currently, you can see this .NET 7 is no longer available. Currently no longer available means what? For example, you are using .NET 7 for developing, using .NET 7, you developed one application and you are using some packages. And then you find that to one of the package, one method you are using, that method having some kind of a issue, some bug is there. So some bug is there means what? If you inform this thing to .NET right, community, then as you are using .NET 7, which is already outdated, so they are not going to give you any more support. That
Okay.
bug means that one will not get any kind of a right solution or fixes for that bug. So that is the support. For example, currently you are using .NET 8. The .NET 8 you are using, so which is going to give 3 years of a support. And that is developed in 2000, right, released in 2023. As the current support is not yet ended, and if you are right, even though .NET 9 is released, even though .NET 10 is released, so this .NET 8 support is not yet ended. So which is going to be end in the year of 2026. So as this support is not ended, and if you are using some of the packages and you came to know and you find some issues are there, if you inform these issues to the .NET community, then they are going to give you a right patch update, or they are going to fix that issue. And once they fix that issue, you can use that updated package, and that issue is going to be no longer available. So support means these things. Clear?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I've got a
Clear,
question.
guys?
One. .NET 7, which was released in November 2022, that if take for instance have an application which is in .NET 7, now it is out of support. The short-term support it has run out of that. There's no long-term support. Now, what do I do? How do I upgrade my application? Do I need to upgrade to
Not required. See,
.NET 10?
see,
Do I
see,
do I upgrade to
remember,
.NET?
see, not required. See, if you are using .NET 7 and if you have developed the application, if that application is working as expected, then why should I update? See, they are not providing the support means what? No new feature, no new performance improvement, no bug fixes.
Oh,
But if your
if
application is
are you saying
working
if
as
it's working
expected,
okay, there's no need to upgrade?
no need to upgrade now. Why you should upgrade? Yes, if you want to write, but what is the problem? The problem is whatever the new features they are going to introduce in the upcoming versions. If some enhancement is there, right? Some interesting feature they have introduced, those feature you cannot use here. But your application will be work as expected. But till now, I can give you guarantee many companies are there. They're still using web form. Still they're
No,
using web form. Even few members called me and asked inform me this thing that sir still we are working in web form.
no.
So
What I'm saying is, if I'm using .NET 7, take for instance 5 years or 6 years down the line, um, because sometimes these versions go with the operating system. And that might it might have,
point is,
if the operating system, if it's not compatible with the operating system, what's going to happen with
nothing
the
is
server?
going to happen. So you can use the application, you can decide what the framework or what version you want to develop. There is nothing. Right? So support means what? They are not going to provide any kind of a right support kind of things. Not that doesn't mean you cannot develop the application. See, here you can see it is saying out of support, out of support, out of support. But still, if I want, I can develop the application using 2.1. So here, what exactly it means? It means if you want, you can develop the application. That application is going to work as expected. There should not be any issue. What is the problem? If some of the packages, if you are using, if those packages are having some issue, some bug, then you will not get any kind of a support.
Yes, still in our application, we are using .NET 6 only.
Yes, that is absolutely fine. But still, see, our 6.0 means it is out of support. But still, if your application, if you have developed the application, do you think that each year, right, Microsoft going to give a new version? So each year I am going to update my application to the latest and the latest version. Angular, in every 6 months, they are providing one new version. So do I need to update in every 6 months my application? Not required.
Yeah, but after a very long time, for example, in my company, we were using 4.5. Then after maybe 10 or 15 years, they are saying upgrade it to 4.8. So we have to
Yeah.
upgrade it to 4.8.
Exactly. See, some of the security patches is there, right? If they're finding, okay, now it is not possible to go with this version, then only they will think about to update it to the latest one. If requirement is not there, if your application is
You
working,
don't need new.
then why should they update?
Sorry, are you saying in conclusion, if everything is working fine, there's no point there's no need to be, because I saw out of support there. That means if I don't need Microsoft for support and everything is okay for me, I don't need to upgrade. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. See, that is what I'm saying. Till now, if I want, I can develop the application using .NET 6. No issue.
Yeah,
Sir,
but if you develop a .NET 6, you don't have any support from Microsoft if you don't run into problems.
Yes, no support from Microsoft.
Okay.
sir, I have one doubt.
That is
If
what
we
I'm saying from the beginning. No?
Yes, sir, correct. That is because we developed our application 2 years back in .NET 6. Today also we developed one new application in .NET 6 only because we have to change the runtime if we upgrade in the server.
Exactly. Right? So that is
sir,
fine.
I have
So
one.
yes,
If we are using .NET 6 application as of now, if you want to migrate to .NET 8 or upcoming .NET 10, it will take a lot of time, or it is easy to migrate.
it will not take most of the time. So some upgraded software is available using which you can easily upgrade.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So now we have understand this, that the question that should comes to your mind, or sometimes, right, I generally ask this question in the interview, right? After .NET 3.1, why they introduced to .NET 5, not .NET 4.x, right? Not .NET Core. Can anybody tell me? So if you see, right, okay, let me show you all the versions, right? So you can see 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, 3.1. After 3.1, the next version is .NET 5. Why? Why not .NET 4?
Because in .NET framework they have up to 4.8 version.
Exactly. So when this .NET Framework 3.1 was there, at that time, .NET Framework 4.8 was active. So when this 3.1 was working, at that time also, .NET Framework 4.0 was in active mode. So if they introduced .NET 4, then people will get confused. This .NET 4 is the updated version of a .NET Framework 4.8. So to avoid such confusion, right? To avoid such confusion, so what they did, they just rename it to .NET 5, and they just simply remove the core branding. So not to avoid or not to confuse between old .NET framework and the new .NET Core platform, they simply skip that .NET 4 version. So no .NET 4, so that you should not have any kind of a confusion. Clear?
Yes, sir. So that means up to ASP.NET 4.8, which was not cross-platform, only for Microsoft, that was there, and they started developing .NET Core, which is open source and cross-platform. So .NET Core 1.2, 2, 3, up to 3. So after that 3, they merged both and made this one open
There is
source
no
and cross.
merging. So don't use the particular terminology Morse. There is nothing called Morse. So this is completely a different platform, and that one is completely .NET ASP.NET framework is a completely platform. So that is dead. So instead of saying Morse, ASP.NET framework is dead, and the next version is .NET 5. Because see, if they introduce to .NET or Core 4.0 or .NET 4, so here you will get the confused. So here I'm saying .NET Core 4.0 and I'm saying .NET Framework 4.8. So this one. So people will think that this .NET Core 4.0 is the next version of the .NET Framework 4.8. So to avoid to overcome such, or simply they are removing this core branding. So now you said .NET 4.0 and .NET Framework 4.8. So people will get confused. So to avoid such confusion, they simply remove this 4.0 branding from .NET Core. Clear?
So
Only
in
for the avoid,
.NET
only
in
for the
.NET
confusion,
5 from
nothing else. Right? So in order to avoid the confusion between .NET 4 Framework 4.8 and the .NET Core 4, so they simply remove this version from this life cycle.
but still in .NET 5 from .NET 5 also we can use the .NET framework features, right? Like waveforms and all.
Yeah, right. How you see, .NET 5 is a different, .NET framework is different. So don't consider these are two, right? Say yes, some of the features which is available in .NET framework might be available in .NET Core, but these are two different things altogether,
Yeah, so
right? So
merge means what I meant to say.
Yeah, both are different, but the .NET framework features and the .NET core features both are merged from .NET 5, right? So
see,
so that
till 3.1, yes, the same things are also available in .NET Core 3.1. The same features are also available in 2.0. Some of the feature of the
no
.NET
from
framework
.NET
and
framework
some
and
of
.NET
the
core.
.NET Core feature. So there should not be right from .NET Core 1.0. They have when they introduce some of the advantages, some of the useful feature from .NET framework they have taken to here. Right. So there should not be
Yeah.
any kind of a merge kind of things instead of saying
No,
merge.
so merge means what I mean to say, when we download the .NET 5 SDK, then .NET Framework up to 4.8 will get the SDK. Also, .NET Core up to 3.1 will get the SDK.
Exactly.
So
So
that
till this .NET 5, right? What is the possibilities there? Now you can develop both the .NET and the .NET framework. I mean, even the using .NET 5, you can develop the application which is going to be run on Windows only. So that flexibility they have provided. For example, right? You can see this is .NET framework 2.2. So here you can see we are having this option run on a .NET framework. So if you want, you can run this application only on a .NET framework. If you don't want, you can remove this one. So this run on .NET framework means what? Now it provides support to run the application only .NET or cross-platform. If you check this one, only .NET. If you uncheck this one, any platform. Now, but if you select .NET 8, that option is no longer available. So that option you can see up to right what I can say this 2.2 I think. And from 3 they have removed this one. Clear? Clearer?
Yes,
yes.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So now the question is, as a .NET framework developer, if I'm coming from a .NET framework background to ASP.NET Core background, right, framework, then what are the things we are going to learn? That is fine. What are the new things? That is what we will understand. But what are the existing they have removed? That's what we need to understand. For example, if you are attending the interviewer might be asking, okay, you have experience in both .NET framework as well as ASP.NET Core framework. So can you please tell me some of the features, right, which is available in .NET Framework, but not available in ASP.NET Core? So you have to tell this thing. So global.axsch file. So this file is available in where? This file is available in ASP.NET Framework. where you can set the application start, session start, application end. So such application level global configuration you can provide. So this is not available. And if you want to do some kind of application level configurations, we are provided with the program.cs class file. We are provided with the dependency injection and a middleware component. In ASP.NET framework, we are having one configuration file, that is web config or app config. So as we are not talking about the desktop application, we are talking about the web application. So we are going to have a web config file, and this web config file, it is a single source of a configuration. So you cannot have a multiple configuration file, only one web config file. And this config file going to contain the data in the form of XML. So guys, remember, between XML and JSON, JSON is going to give you better performance comparing with the XML. So now this web config file is removed. And now we are provided with a multiple configuration file, app settings, environment, environment variable, user secret, key vault. So multiple JSON files are there. And as per your requirement, you can do the settings. For example, here, and for example, I'm having one config file. So inside that config file, if I'm going to use that connection string, I need to define multiple connection string. One connection string, setting for the QA environment, another one for the UAT, another one is for the development. But here we can have different configuration file altogether. One configuration file for the QA environment, another configuration file for the dev environment, another configuration file for the production environment. That kind of flexibility we are going to get with the ASP.NET Core. So here
Sorry.
it is a model.
How you
Yes,
feeling? Yeah, thank God. Why don't you go and take this thing? Oh, I don't know. But put some, if it's tummy, put some salt in water and drink it.
So can you please put your question in the chat window, because
I got salt water normally handle it though. Put some salt in water, then drink it.
No, actually, I'm getting little bit difficult to understand your accent. So please put your question in the chat window. I have enable the chat window. Whatever your query is, put in the chat window. I will definitely take your questions. Right. So now, we are having this HTTP handler and models, which is not available in ASP.NET Core. Here we are going to have something called middleware pipeline. In this case, we are having the system.web namespace, which is going to contain all the files which is required for developing a web application. And this file size is very big. This is not available in ASP.NET Core. Here it is IIS only hosting. So you can only host this on IIS. Now you can host the application in multiple hosting environment. So here we are having this form authentication membership management. This is not available in ASP.NET Core. So these are the things, this is not available with ASP.NET Core. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what I need to understand, we need to understand what is the difference between a .NET framework and a .NET Core. So guys, remember, we have already discussed the differences. Let us try to recapture. So .NET framework means it is Windows only or cross-platform? Let's be participant.
Windows only.
It is Windows only.
And .NET is?
It's a cross-platform.
So what architecture it is following? Monolithic means a single framework, right? Single, For example, if you are loading the entity framework, a single package you have to enter, which is going to contain everything. This is modular. Multiple packages are there, which is required for you. You can install that package. Performance we have already discussed. Your modern optimization, right? Yes, performance is good, but not optimized as for the modern web application. It is not cloud native, so it is not suitable for cloud environment. High performance, because of the Vue.js. So how it is going to give you better performance, we will see. Support and
But
development.
we can host, sir, we can host the .NET framework applications in the cloud, I think. I have hosted some applications in cloud.
See, cloud hosted means all the modern features you will not get.
Okay.
Right. So support and development means what? Currently it is in the maintenance mode. Only critical and security fixes are going to be provided, but this is open source on GitHub. So large community contributors are there. See, use cases, some legacy app is there, some application you want to develop only for Windows operating system, Windows server, you can go with the .NET framework, but modern application means you need to consider using this one, right? Also,
Can you explain once again monolithic? What do you mean by monolithic?
Monolith, okay. So monolithic is, before proceeding further, monolithic means what? Right, for example, entity framework code. Entity framework. If you are using entity framework, you know what you need to do? You need to install a single package, right, with the .NET framework. But with the ASP.NET Core, working with the entity framework means you need to install multiple packages. One package for writing the code, one package for the migration. If a migration is not required, then why should I install that package? Anyone who attended my ASP.NET Core session, right? We have installed different packages related to entity framework or not? Package 2 for the base, right? Entity
For
framework
design
core,
Yes,
to
sir.
right? For the migration, entity framework core for SQL server. So different
SQL
packages
server,
are there,
correct.
right? So why they are provided in a lightweight? So you do not need to install a single package which is going to contain everything. If you need everything, you have to install multiple packages. If you need only few things, then only that particular package you need to install. That is monolithic and that is modular. Clear?
Sir, if I download the package
Second
entity
thing, okay, let me give you another example. So second thing, right? Nowadays, whenever we are developing the applications, generally for developing the application, we are following two architecture. What are the architecture? One is monolithic architecture, another one is microservices architecture. Monolithic architecture, who is on mute? Who is on mute? Okay, let me remove him. I think he's opening his laptop or TV and attending the session. Okay, fine. See, so there are two different kind of architecture. One is monolithic architecture, another one is microservices architecture. So to give you a better clarity, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this thing. So monolithic architecture means what? Okay. See, monolithic architecture means what? That your presentation layer communicating with the business logic layer, communicating with the data access layer, and you are having a single database. So every code you have written inside a single project, right? So this is monolithic architecture. Now, if you want to follow the microservices architecture, right? And in microservices architecture, you have to develop multiple projects. One project for the product service, another for the order service, another for the payment service, another for the inventory service. And each project is having its own database, one business logic, one data access logic. Everything is unique. And this is possible with ASP.NET Core. And this is possible with the .NET framework, right? Single code base, all the order, product, payment, everything you are putting inside a single project. So this is monolithic architecture, and this is microservices architecture. Means what? You need to understand. Monolithic means a single code base contain everything. The single package contain all the required things. Microservices means what? The multiple small services. One package for database migration, one package for DB context, another package for database provider. So different packages are there. Clear?
yes.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, before proceeding further, right, we need to understand. Yes, we have discussed the difference. If now someone asks you what is the difference between a .NET framework and a .NET Core, see, if I'm saying .NET or .NET Core, meaning is going to be same. Why? Now .NET Core renamed to .NET from .NET 5. When the fifth version is released, and they have simply removed the core brand from their name. So if I'm saying .NET Core, ultimately it is only the .NET framework, .NET only. And .NET framework means it is the old versions. Right now. Now what we need to understand?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I have one question. In older .NET framework, we can create web forms and MVC project, right? So in
Yes.
our .NET with this with in core only, we can create also MVC and web forms also, right? Or am I
I'm
wrong?
going to discuss. See, why you are in a hurry? What are the different flavors available? What flavor you need to use for developing what kind of application we are going to discuss. So please wait some time. Clear? So whatever your question, I'm going to cover also in today's session. After a few minutes. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we need to understand what is the difference. See, we understand what is the difference between a .NET framework and a .NET Core. Now we need to understand what is the difference between a .NET Core and a ASP.NET Core. People are getting confused. People are thinking that the ASP.NET Core and a .NET Core is both are same. So is both are same or both are going to be different? Can anybody tell me?
The difference, sir.
Both
So
are different.
what is the difference?
So ASP.NET is
contain
for the go ahead.
So in simple word, what is ASP.NET?
ASP.NET Web Development Framework.
So what is ASP.NET?
ASP.NET is a technology to develop web applications.
So now coming to this one, this .NET Core, simply you can say it is the runtime. Right? So for example,
platform.
if you want to run any application, you need a run environment or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
For developing a web application, you need ASP.NET Core. For example, you want to develop a web application. If you want to develop some RESTful services, right? For that purpose, you need ASP.NET Core. So what is ASP.NET Core? Now, it is the web application development framework using which we can develop the web applications. Then what is .NET Core or a .NET? It is the runtime environment where whatever web application we developed using ASP.NET Core, that application is going to be run. So it is going to provide the runtime environment, and this is going to provide the framework using which we can develop the application. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right now, see if I compare this thing with .NET framework, right? Right, let us try to understand this thing by comparing with the .NET framework. So if you are working with the .NET framework, then definitely what will be your operating system?
Windows only.
Windows. So on top of this Windows operating system, what you need to install? You need to install .NET framework. What is this .NET framework? Now it is going to provide the runtime environment. And once you install this .NET framework runtime environment, that is the CLR, then on top of this CLR, what you need to do? You need to host your application. What application? ASP.NET web application. Sir, what are the ASP.NET web application? That web application can be your ASP.NET web form. That application can be your ASP.NET MVC. That application can be your ASP.NET Web API. So if you develop the application using ASP.NET means what? It can be a web form, it can be MVC, and it can be ASP.NET Web API. And those applications, if you want to develop, you need to use the ASP.NET framework. So once you develop the application using the web application development framework, so to run that application, you need this .NET framework runtime environment. So your .NET framework is the runtime environment. ASP.NET web application means this is going to be your ASP.NET means it is going to be the web application development framework. Now coming to this part, .NET Core. So .NET Core application, is it specific to Windows or it can be run on any kind of operating system?
Cross-platform.
So cross-platform means it can be Windows, Linux, and Mac, any operating system. And here what we need to install? We need to install the operating specific .NET Core runtime environment. So here we need to install what? Operating system specific .NET Core runtime environment. Guys, remember, .NET Core is not same for Windows. It is not same the same operate .NET Core runtime environment. You cannot use in Windows, Linux, and Macs. For each operating system, they have provided one .NET Core runtime environment. So based on your operating system, what you need to do? You need to install .NET Core runtime environment. On top of this .NET Core runtime environment, your ASP.NET web core, right? ASP.NET Core web applications are going to be run. So here, what is .NET Core or .NET? It is the runtime environment where the .NET Core applications are going to be run. What is ASP.NET Core? It is the web application development framework using which we can develop different kind of web applications, and such web applications are going to be run on this runtime environment.
I have a query.
Yes.
You said like .NET Core is having different for Windows and Linux, macOS, right? In that case, the ASP.NET Core web apps also will have the difference, or it will be a common coding logic?
I will show you that one in the after few minutes, because the next thing what I'm going to discuss is the .NET Core execution process. So how the application execution takes place, takes place. Not what I'm going to explain. So at that time you will get the clarity how the applications are compiled, how the compiled code is going to be handled by runtime environment. Clarity I'm going to give you in some time, right? For example, if you are curious to know all these things, right? So the next topic I'm going to discuss the .NET Core runtime environment. So at that time I will show you how these things are going to happen, what CLR, how it is being processed. Clarity I will give you, right? See, to make you understand, right, to understand the things right, very clearly, I'm going to represent, I'm going to show everything pictorially, right? Theoretically, you might not be understand the concept, but once I show you right pictorially, that diagram you can put on your mind and you can easily understand, right? For time being, just remember each operating system having its own runtime environment. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. Next question. Anyone having any more question? Clear. Okay. Now, so now if you see, right, ASP.NET Core and this thing, so you can see what is .NET, right? It is the cross-platform runtime. So within this cross-platform runtime, you can have different kind of workloads. What is workload? I will show you once I install the packages. So SDK versus runtime. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between a SDK versus runtime?
So SDK would be software development kit, which will be used for building the application, which is, not lightweight. And while runtime is where we are going to host the application, which need fewer, uh, I'll say libraries or.
Two things I need to understand. So SDK means it is the combination of two things: base class library, or you can say framework class library, plus you can say that runtime environment. Clear? And the CLR means it is the only environment. Only CLR means only CLR. SDK means it is the combination of a BCL, FCL, and a CLR. It is right from the point of a .NET framework. See, it is from the point of a
So
.NET.
that means, sir, in Windows, I can download SDK and develop one application. Then the same application, I can take it to Linux and install runtime for
I will show
Linux
you
and run
that
it.
practically. We'll show you that one practical. So time being, don't think too much about it. Whatever you are saying, that is platform independent. Yes, absolutely fine. So that the concept I'm going to discuss, right? Once the slide what I have opened, that .NET framework code execution process, I will show you all these things. And for time being, what you need to remember that in .NET framework, SDK means it is the combination of a PCL, FCL, and CLR. So what exactly it means? For example, if you want to develop the application, so on your machine, so what you need to install? You need to install SDK or CLR.
SDK.
SDK.
Why SDK? Why SDK? Now, because this BCL and FCL, they are going to provide you packages, the right interfaces, the classes, which are the backbone for developing .NET applications. Right? For example, if you want to develop any console application, for developing a console application, whatever the minimum packages are required, who will provide these packages? You are writing system.console.writeline. You are using system.io package. You are using system.collection.generic packages. Who is providing these packages? So these packages are going to be provided by this BCL and HCL. I will also show you what BCL will provide, what HCL will provide. And for developing the right application, you need BCL and FCL. And for running the application on your local machine, definitely you need CLR. Right? Once you develop the application, then you need to host the application into the server. In the server, do I need this BCL and FCL? Am I going to develop the application in the server, or I'm only going to run the application?
Going to run the application.
Only running the application.
Run the application.
So running the application means in the server, what I need to install, SDK or CLR?
CLR.
CLR.
Right? That is CLR. So this is .NET framework, and in .NET Core framework, right? This is replaced with Core Effects, and this is replaced with Core CLR. So this BCL and FCL, right? What I can say, that replaced with a single rate package called CoreFX, and that library runtime environment we call it as a core CLR instead of CLR. I will show you this thing practically, but for timing, just remember SDK means containing base class library plus the runtime environment. CLR means only runtime environment. So as per your requirement, whatever is required. For example, if you are running the application, you can only install .NET runtime. For developing, you need SDK. What is the latest STS version? That is .NET 8. 8 ASP.NET Core web application you can develop, RESTful API you can develop, real-time application using SignalR you can develop, single page application using Razor Pages you can develop, Blazor application you can also develop, gRPC application you can develop. It is open source and cross-platform we have already discussed. You can host the application in the IIS, Nginx, Apache, that is also we have discussed. Built-in support for dependency injection is also there. We can have multiple configuration files, right? We can this is what we are going to discuss: app settings, launch settings, all these things. And the unified programming model. Unified programming model means if you develop a single application, that application can be worked for both MVC and WebAPI. How we will do the right convert all these things we will see. Right. So that is what we have discussed. And what are the different flavors, right? What type of applications you can develop? So for developing the web application, you can make use of this ASP.NET Core MVC. This is going to follow the model view controller approach. So for developing RESTful services, you can make use of this web API for developing RESTful services. If you want to develop some kind of a single page application, or you can say page focused application similar to your web app, where we are going to have view file, and for each view file we are going to have a code behind file. So for that purpose you can make use of this Razor Pages. So this is ASP.NET Core Blazor, which will also brings the which will allow you to execute your C# code on the browser. So generally, if you are developing the application and if you want to implement some kind of business logic on the client side where the client browser should execute, generally we are using JavaScript or jQuery kind of things. But this ASP.NET Core Blazor application allows to execute C# code on the browser. So browser is going to execute the C# code in two different ways. It is going to execute the code. One is using the Blazor server. Another one is the Blazor WebAssembly. So if you learn this thing, that is fine. And guys, remember, very in the near future, this Blazor is going to boom in the market. That's what I'm going to tell you now, right now. If you got some time, do some research, do some R&D, and try to learn this Blazor concept. And this is also minimal. Yes.
Can you tell some use cases of this application?
Which applications?
Like in today's world, where we are using this Blazor?
See, that is what I'm saying now. So suppose you want to develop a web application. So generally, what is their main objective? Their main objective is to replace JavaScript with C#. So now I'm saying you write a very complicated method using C#. You can write. If I'm saying the same thing, please do it using JavaScript. Can you do this thing?
Yeah,
like
it's complex.
in our company
but it's
also,
going to be complicated.
like currently we are
Basically,
developing one
so basically
application.
what Microsoft telling to the developer. So if you are learning C#, you do not need to learn any scripting language anymore. So I'm giving you the flexibility. Instead of using JavaScript, you know C#, please use C# for the client-side scripting. So that is what, right? And currently, this is the only, right? For example, if you are developing a single page, some kind of web applications, right? Where you are going to write a vast amount of JavaScript client-side code, then you need to go with the Blazor kind of applications, right? So minimal API, so this is the newer, which is introduced from .NET 6. So in this case, this is an alternative way of this ASP.NET Core Web API. So basically what exactly it means? It means here you are using the controller-based approach to develop the RESTful services. But instead of creating controller action method, directly you can develop the APIs, which is going to be consumed by the, what I can say, client. So that is going to be minimal API. We'll discuss what is minimal API. We'll discuss this ASP.NET Core. Web API also. So these two things we are going to cover. SignalR, so real-time application if you want to develop, for example, some WebSocket, some server, right? Some kind of event-based application, some kind of chat application, live support, live chat. Suppose like Facebook application, like the WhatsApp application, such type of applications if you want to develop, you can make use of SignalR. This is gRPC, it is another way to develop microservices application. So not that popular nowadays, but yes, this is also one of the way to implement microservices based applications. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So this is all about for today's session. Tomorrow we are going to discuss that execution process, right? How the .NET Framework application is going to be executed. What is the compiler? What is runtime? What is the native code is being generated? What is intermediate MSIL code? How this code is being generated? What are the things which binary code is going to contain, right? Whatever the different kind of compiler, right? What I can say, just-in-time compiler are there, which compiler is being used by default, what else other compilers are being used, when it is being used, right? Then I'm going to discuss the .NET Core runtime environment. Here you can see the compiler is different, the CLR is different, right? All these things we are going to discuss, and then we are going to discuss the environment setup. So whatever the, right, what I can say, software is required for developing the application, from where you will get, right? How to download and install .NET Core SDK, how to download and install Visual Studio Code, how to install SQL Server, SMS, SSMS, Postman and Fiddler. So all these things we are going to discuss, right, one by one. So now it is time for the question answer. If anyone having any question related to today's session, they can ask me. Second thing, if anyone join for the first time today's session, they can also ask if they are having any question related to this training program. And one more thing, guys, I want to make you highlight, only 10 seats are available. If anyone interested till not yet registered for this training program, if they want to join the main sessions, even we are having another demo sessions tomorrow, but if you want to confirm your seat, then you can make the payment. I'm going to share this payment details in the chat window. Please take this data and do the payment. And also, if you want to communicate, if you want contact with me, that contact information I'm also sharing in the chat window. So how many seats are left means only 10 seats are left. All the seats are, I think, already 120 members have registered. Only 10 seats are available. So maximum 130 students I'm going to take. Yes. Now, anyone having any question, they can ask me.
Sir, you mentioned that .NET Core and ASP.NET, no?
Hmm?
Means .NET Core is which runs the ASP.NET Core, right?
Sorry, .NET Core and
Which runs the ASP.NET Core.
no, not that is not .NET Core means what? First of all, you just tell me what is .NET Core. What is .NET Core? You just tell me.
Means I didn't understand the .NET Core and ASP.NET Core.
I'm asking you the question. What is .NET Core? First of all, you just explain. You will give me the answer, right? I don't need to give the answer. You will give me the answer. What is .NET Core?
It is a framework.
So who told you .NET Core is the framework? I have already written here. It is the runtime environment.
Okay.
Clear? So
Okay,
when
sir.
I'm talking about ASP.NET Core, this is the framework. So here you will see ASP.NET Core means ASP.NET Core MVC. Here you will find ASP.NET Core
API.
Web API. Right? Here you will find ASP.NET Core
Blazor.
Razor pages. Right? So these are the web application development framework, etc. Right now you just tell me, if you want to develop the application, what you need? You need .NET Core runtime or you need ASP.NET Core for developing the application. I'm not talking about running the application.
.NET ASP.NET Core.
So basically, what is ASP.NET Core? Now, it is the web application development framework using which we can develop different kind of web applications. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then once you develop the web application, then what you need to do? You need to run the application. So for
Yeah.
example, if you take the example of a mobile, say in mobile, so that mobile having the operating system and the mobile also having some kind of apps. So without app, right, without operating system, can your application, whatever app you are using, are they going to work?
No.
So similarly, once you develop the web application using ASP.NET Core framework, then to run the application, you need one environment. Yes or no? So that
Yes, sir.
environment is going to be provided by .NET Core. So .NET Core means it is the runtime environment. ASP.NET Core, it is the web application development framework using which we can develop the application, and these applications are going to be run on this environment. Clear? So
Yes, sir.
basically,
Yeah.
what exactly it means. Now, I will show you this thing tomorrow. Now, once you run the application, then that code, right? Once that compiled code will be loaded into the RAM, and within the RAM, this .NET Core runtime environment will come into the picture, and this .NET runtime environment. So basically, they are going to generate the machine code. So I will show you this thing, right? Tomorrow I'm going to show you what is compiled code, what is machine code, when the machine code is going to be generated, how the machine code is going to be generated, right? And how the operating system is going to execute the machine code. All these things we are going to discuss tomorrow. But now, just remember, this is the runtime environment. Runtime environment is not a web application development framework. It is the environment where the applications are going to be run, which is going to be developed using this framework, ASP.NET Core. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Next question, please, guys. If anybody has any question, anything else?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I have a question. So, if someone learns .NET in .NET 8, let's say, so what will what can he expect in interviews? Like, if the company is using, let's say, .NET 6 or .NET 5, and the person, the student learned in
See, first of all,
yeah.
So, right, before joining this one, you worked with the ASP.NET framework or not?
Right now, I'm working with .NET 8.
No, I'm not talking about .NET 8. So I'm
Yeah.
asking, right, have you ever worked with the ASP.NET framework or not?
Yes. .NET Core Web API.
I'm talking about .NET framework, not right,
No,
ASP.NET.
not the framework. No, nothing.
Okay. So currently, you are working in which version?
.NET 8.
So you just tell me, right, working with .NET 6, .NET 8, .NET 7, is there any difference? Some of the right, fundamental changes they might be introduced, but most of the concepts are going to be same. Only few advantages, some new features or some right enhancement they are going to do. But ideally, if you see most of the concept, whatever they introduced in .NET Core 1.0, the same concept is still available in .NET 9. So you will not find any difficulty, right, between .NET 6 and .NET 8. But yes, what the interviewer might be ask you, what are the new features they have introduced in .NET 8, which is not available in the previous versions? Or what are the enhancement they have done with the latest version of .NET Core, which is not available in the, I mean, enhancement, definitely it is enhancement. New means it is not available. So that is the only possible way or only possible question that what you might be getting the interview. Rest of the things, all right, doesn't matter. For example, we are going to learn a middleware component, dependency injection, controller model views, right, model binding, caching, logging, filter. So these concepts are going to be common, same. Doesn't matter whether you are using 6 or 8 or whatever, 9, 7, whatever. The concept are going to be same. Some enhancement, some bug fixes, some new features is going to be introduced in a new version. Clear?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next question, please, guys. Anyone join new today?
Pranay, when will I get recording of this video?
The recorded session I have already shared on the YouTube channel.
Okay, okay. And and I have one
So
more
see that
question.
remember,
Suppose
let me give you the clarity. Only demo sessions I'm going to upload on YouTube, so anyone can watch these sessions. Once the main session start, I will create a private Telegram group. Only the enrolled member, I will add them to that private Telegram group, and they can watch the recorded session and get the documents from there. So this document, whatever I have actually used, right, explained today, I will share this document right with all the members. Recorded session I will upload on my YouTube channel only for the demo session. For the main session, private Telegram group I will create, and you will be added to that group.
okay. And I have one more questions. Suppose I want to upgrade from .NET 6 to .NET 8, then what changes will I have to do?
I will show you that changes, that practical I'm going to show you. So they have provided some right upgraded assistant, that the .NET upgrade assistant, some tools they have provided. Using that tool, you can migrate older version to new version.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Next question, please.
So today's lecture also you have uploaded, sir?
Sorry?
Today's lecture also you have uploaded on YouTube?
Yeah, I will upload today's session and
Okay,
tomorrow's
you
session.
will upload. Okay.
I will upload.
I think yesterday's you have uploaded. Actually, I was finding it on YouTube. That's why. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, please. Anyone having any more question?
Sir, I have one question. Similar to ChatGPT, we can use Angular as a front-end UI.
So what do you mean by ChatGPT and Angular?
Means we can use a user interface using Angular. Means like a chat box.
Yeah, that is fine. See, every framework they're providing such support. So
Okay.
you mean you want to develop some kind of a chat application, right? Or using Angular. Possible. We are going to develop also.
Okay, sir.
If you see
Anna,
the demo session, I have already discussed live notification, how to develop. So if I'm showing, definitely I'm going to implement practically. Yes. Next question, please.
yeah, when I have one question, actually it's silly one. In ASP.NET MVC, we have view support. So in that we are going to write our HTML C# code. So whether we can use Angular with that?
You see, Angular is different, right? If you are using a CSS HTML file, then what is the use of Angular? Angular means what you have to remember. See, whatever view you created, where the view is going to be executed, in the client side or on the server side?
Client side.
Right.
Not client side. Completely wrong. So view is means a CSS HTML file. CSS HTML file means it contains some C# code or not?
Yeah, C# code.
The C# code, does the browser understand C# code?
No.
So that view, that CSS HTML file is going to be executed on the server side. Once it execute on the server side, that dynamic HTML is going to be generated. That dynamic HTML will be returned to the browser, and that browser is going to render that HTML. And Angular, it is completely a front-end application. Everything, whatever I'm going to write, whatever we will write, that is going to be executed on the client side. So there is no chance of writing any kind of a server-side code.
Okay. So with ASP.NET MVC, they will not be used like UI framework like Angular.
Hey, ASP.NET MVC and Angular means, right? You are completely right. There is nothing called ASP.NET MVC. First of all, this is the .NET framework things you are talking about. And with the ASP.NET Core MVC means why should I use Angular? Not required. So Angular is a different framework. ASP.NET MVC or ASP.NET Core MVC is a different framework. Angular is basically used to develop only the front-end application. ASP.NET MVC and ASP.NET Core MVC, that framework is going to give you support for both front-end and back-end applications.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's a different
I thought,
altogether.
okay. I thought we are going to share the HTML file to our front end, something like that.
Oh, no.
That's it. Thank you for clarification.
So for that purpose, you need to develop the application using ASP.NET MVC or ASP.NET Core MVC. If that is the case, then why you should learn Angular? Angular is specifically for designing the front-end application. For back-end, we are going to use ASP.NET Core Web API. Clear?
Oh, yeah, clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone having any more question, guys? Clear? Or anyone having anyone else having any more questions? Right, only 10 seats are available. If anyone wants to confirm, please do the payment and confirm your seats. Shall we close the session?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys, and please join tomorrow last demo session where we will discuss that .NET Framework execution process and the environment setup. So we are going to make the environment similar to our production. So we'll see how to install .NET SDK, how to install Visual Studio Code, SQL Server Database, SQL Server Management Studio, how to install Postman and Fiddler. So everything we will make ready so that it will look like right. What I can say, I mean, the way you are working in your company, similar kind of feelings you will feel here also, right? We are going to make the environment similar to your environment, how you are working in your company. Okay. Thank you,
Sure, sure.
guys.
Thank you.
Sir, one last
you.
question.
Yes, please.
Sorry if I might sound silly, but actually, there might be some students in this batch who want to learn this course at a fast pace. So, is it possible for you to share the previously recorded sessions so they can take instead of live sessions, they can attend the
Yes, see,
older sessions?
two things you need to understand. So I have taken many ASP.NET Core session, but Angular session recorded, right, I'm going to take for the first time, right? I mean that syllabus, whatever I designed, that is for the first time because from so many years, right, I'm taking sessions on ASP.NET Core. I'm taking sessions on microservices. So such recorded sessions are available like Advanced C#, right? If you want to write fast track, then you can join and you can write what I can say, watch those recorded session as what I can say as soon as possible or as per your convenient time. That is fine. But Angular is not available.
So, what will be the charges for those only .NET sessions?
So that thing, right? You ping me, right? Personally, we'll discuss that thing, right, separately, not
Sure.
here. So because this
Okay,
is related to, we need to be right. Yeah, whatever the session, we need to stick to that session only.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Next question, please.
Have you made the Telegram group for the members? Or
No,
are you
I
going to
have not
make
yet created, right? I have not yet created. So mostly after taking tomorrow session, day after tomorrow, I'm going to create the Telegram group and through your personal, right, through your WhatsApp number, I'm going to share the Telegram group link so that you can join. So I've
Okay, but
taken your
how
email
do I
ID.
get how do we get this today's PDF? Where do we get it?
I'm to see, as I have already told you, right? Demo sessions I will upload on my YouTube channel. You can watch there. Again, right, once I create the Telegram group, in that Telegram group also, I'm going to upload this document and recorded sessions.
Okay.
Yes. Next question, please. Anyone else, guys? Does anyone having any more question?
One doubt, Pranay. Are we getting all the document at once or as like as
Daily
per the
basis.
sessions?
Yes, on a
Daily
daily
basis.
basis.
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
whatever the document I have discussed today, the document only I'm going to share. Again, tomorrow, whatever the document I'm going to explain. So, for example, for this thing, so I'm not going to share all this document today itself. Whatever we discuss, only that thing I'm going to share. Tomorrow, whatever topics we are going to discuss, that things I'm going to share.
Okay.
Clear? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.